General Motors is laying off 1,300 people. Shout out to the UAW.
More layoffs coming to General Motors, the automaker announcing that the cuts will be coming early next year and impact around 1,300 workers in total in the state of Michigan. This coming just one day after the company cut 24% of its cruise division. Now, these layoffs that are being announced today, not necessarily a huge surprise. It's also important to point out that this also follows just about a month after the company reached that massive deal with the UAW. But when it comes to these two plans, Brad, and the employees that are going to be affected. The one plant, the Lake Orion plant, manufactures a Chevy Bolt, which is going to stop production here by the end of the year. That plant is going to be idle as they look ahead to try to transition it to prepare it for producing electric pickup trucks here in the future. So a number of these workers, unfortunately, being laid off as a result of that.
Yeah, one of the huge things that we were tracking, especially coming off of the negotiations with the UAW.
Hold on, wait a minute. What is all up with all of this extra that's going on with the guys, and where your stash at, man? I wouldn't even have noticed what was going on with you, and I wouldn't even have paid attention to the turtleneck and all of that stuff, which ain't nothing wrong with turtlenecks. But the first thing that I have to ask is, where your stash at, bro? What's up? We don't believe in stashes no more out here in these streets? Black men don't wear stashes no more? Y'all don't want to be trustworthy? Let me hear what he got to say.
Was how the automakers would look across the total headcount that they had at many of these factories and try to understand, okay, for a lot of the initiatives that we've set forth, whether that be in autonomous driving, of course, a far off goal that many of the automakers have discussed, and some of them rolled out in some facet or another, whether that be electric vehicles, where they've set multi-year targets and unfortunately been met with a market demand profile that's been vastly different, perhaps early innings, than what they anticipated, and needing to make sure that they're securing margins for right now.
So I can't take no more of the stash. You can't put as much effort into your S curl, but less effort into your face, man. So you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the super chats. I'm gonna be reading those shortly. But they decided to lay off 1,300 workers, in which, according to the warn notices, the company basically filed with the state regulators, and they're saying that the job cuts is basically gonna be at GM's Orion Assembly and Lansing Grand River Assembly Plant, which will take place in the new year, and to come after the automaker said in October that it will be delaying electric pickup truck production into 2025. Also said that it's basically going to affect 945 employees at GM's Orion plant, and 369 employees will be cut from the Lansing Assembly Plant. And this is right after the agreement with the UAW, which I'm sure that the UAW is not necessarily going to speak to or address this, considering that they're trying to unionize non-U.S. auto workers now. And they're saying that hopefully they can come up with some kind of opportunity to replace and get these other members back into other positions. But if you know anything about what's been going on with auto layoffs, and obviously I'm familiar with it because I'm from Detroit, and a lot of the industries that I used to be dependent upon in order to be successful was automotive related, especially when I went through the recession in 2008. A lot of these people, even if they do get another job offer, they'll have to relocate. They'll have to go and it's all based off of seniority. It's not based off of work ethic. It's based off of how long you've been with the company. If you're a temporary worker, sucks for you, all of this type of stuff, right? So it's a lot that happens in between the scenes more than just the layoffs. And when you think about a lot of these negotiations and things that happen, when they push out a product out to 2025 because they don't have the budget to continue to put in the research and development, or they going across different plants or across the company in general and trying to figure out where they can make cuts, because they still have to deliver on results and keep the stock price inflated, and also make sure that they're doing the things that's in the best order in the shareholders, because the shareholders are the owners of the company, right? Then you realize that, man, this is far reaching, bigger impact, other industries, and it's not just the workers that work for GM also that's impacted. It's also the industries, the people, the products, the suppliers, different people that depend on these companies to succeed, that then impact your overall view of how it is that you're really operating from a business perspective. So these layoffs are not just layoffs in a silo. there's so many other things that go on that's not nationally recognized, or it's not promoted on these sites, or it's not acknowledged, that is affecting the industry as a whole. And it's devastating. It's devastating to even hear that you'll possibly have to be relocated or laid off right after the new year and right after the holiday. So it's pretty crazy. But in addition to that, also on top of that, quick hits, Tesla released its second generation robot. It's called Optimus 2. Let me give you a little bit of a hint of what's going on there. This was Gen 1, and now they're releasing Gen 2. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and mute that also. But as they're showing you the different capabilities of the robot itself, I'll give you guys a little bit of insight into exactly what it does. So, Optimus 2, or Optimus Gen 2, is a new generation of its humanoid robot that should be able to take over repetitive tasks for humans, right? And then you combine this over with AI, Neuralink, and then you can see where this is going, right? But Optimus, also known as a Tesla bot, has not been taken seriously by many outside of more than hardcore Tesla fans up until now. When it was first released, it was a half-baked idea, according to the pundits, from CEO Elon Musk, with a dancer disguised as a robot for visual aids. And they said that it was less impressive. But now it's a completely different animal. And basically, they released a new update on the Optimus program, and they plowing a bunch of money into it. And it's a much more refined robot. They said that the robot is now available or able to walk 30% faster. Uh, it also claims that it's got a weight reduction. It can perform squats, balance in itself. It could, handle eggs, all of that type of stuff. And they said that it need to be strong enough to be able to support weights, yet be precise enough to handle delicate objects. So, it looks like it's a really, really big upgrade. And the company said that it plans to start using a robot. Hold on, let me get this off of the screen. Give me a second. And the company says that it plans to start using the robot in its own manufacturing operations. So once it proves its usefulness, Tesla plans to start selling the robot and using the robot um, in its own manufacturing. So what Elon Musk is doing is getting ahead of what it is that they see happening, not only within society, because if you pay attention to Tesla and you listen to the earnings calls and you see what's going on in the industry and you see what's happening with the UAW, what Elon Musk has always said is that he needs more workers, right? And one of the biggest problems within society is that they're not having enough babies. Well, we can get into all of the dynamics of the cost of raising a child and inflation and being responsible and everything like that. But another thing that he's been complaining about lately is the possibility of Tesla being unionized, and American workers and workers across the board, and needing people that then prevent them from continuing to be innovative, because you have to deal with the politics that go along with it, right? And so one of the goals of the Tesla bot, as they continue to innovate, is not only sell it to the general public in order to continue to profit and then make money, especially with regard to the services and the subscriptions division, right? Because that's the way you continue to generate revenue, but also to replace humans on the line in order for them to be able to do some of the tasks that they don't have to worry about getting unionized for, right? So when you're looking to invest in a company, not only do you want to understand the company, but you want to understand the type of company that it is. Tesla, more than an automaker, is a technology company. And their goal is to sell products on a reoccurring basis while also eliminating the costs, the waste, and also making sure that they innovate it to where you don't need as many people to do the same tasks, that you can then put research and development in, and then they don't have to worry about calling off every day. So when you see them plowing this much money into it, you got to start thinking differently about what the goal is for this Tesla bot. It's not just to innovate to eliminate humans, but it's also to innovate to eliminate humans, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So that also. And then last but not least, In addition to that, Tyreek Hill. So this news is just breaking, and this was just sent to me in my email. But Tyreek Hill, who, according to reports, is a newly married Tyreek Hill, has been slapped with not one, but two paternity suits demanding child support. The report said that the Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill is facing not one, but two paternity suits from two different women, both demanding child support. And according to the legal documents, both women are claiming that the football star, who was on track to break NFL records this year, both on and off the field, right, is the father of their children. The filings claim that both children was born this year, the same year that he married his longtime fiance. They say that the wide receiver is reportedly paying each woman $2,500 a month. However, both women claim that it is woefully inadequate. And considering his insane $30 million salary, they want more. The first woman's name is Brittany Lacker. What's up with all of these Britneys? The first woman's name is Brittany Lacker to file a case and actually came forward in January claiming that she and the Miami Dolphins wide receiver had sex in Florida the prior year. Her petition was filed in Broward County, Florida, and claimed that the prenatal paternity test had shown that Hill was the father of her baby with greater than 99.9% probability. She then submitted the paperwork after her child, Soul, like Music Soul Child, was born, claiming that Tyreek refused to pay $2,500 a month in child support unless a second DNA test was performed. Lackner is now claiming that the monthly $2,500 is woefully inadequate amount, considering the father is a member of the Miami Dolphins earning a salary of $30 million a year according to a 4-year contract. In stark contrast, the mother is unemployed, has no income, and is on Medicaid with no means of support. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is crazy. The second woman, whose name is Kimberly, came forward in May, claiming that a paternity test would prove that Tyreek was the father of her newborn daughter, Trey Love Hill. Aww. She stated that they hooked up in August 2022. In the filing, Baker also receiving $2,500 each month from Hill, but said that caring for their little girl was costing closer to $10,000 a month. Baker is also accusing Tyreek Hill of demonstrating utter and abject concern for their now 6-month-old baby girl. Oh, 6-month-old baby girl takes $10,000 a month. Hill currently pays $13,500 each month to support 3 kids he shares with his ex-partner, Crystal, and now may have to pay even more if the two new women win their lawsuits. He is also paying $31,000 a month in current household bills and mortgage payments on his more than $7 million home. Now think about this. He's paying a mortgage on a $7 million home and makes $30 million a year. You can't make this stuff up, bro. You cannot make this stuff up. No matter how much I teach, no matter how many examples that we see, no matter what happens out here in these streets, on a regular basis, there is always going to be mismanagement, and you can get as much money as you want, but it doesn't necessarily translate into being successful. But neither here nor there. I'm sure we'll be having more conversations about this in the future. And ladies and gentlemen, that was your quick hit.